Good evening. Welcome to the Thursday, January 19th, 2017 edition of the Auburn Zoning Board of Appeals. Before I get started, I have to ask if anybody is recording the meeting this evening. Hearing none, seeing none. Do I have a motion to open the hearing? Motion to open the meeting, excuse me.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a 7 o'clock applicant, Mr. Jerry Mario, requesting a special permit for an accessory apartment and a variance for the maximum square footage under section 9.3.12 of the Auburn zoning bylaws to construct an accessory apartment above an existing garage on property located at 21 Oxford Street North, Auburn, Mass. Map 4, Parcel 8 is the applicant present. Sir, if you could approach the lectern and introduce yourself and give us an overview of what you'd like to accomplish.
Good evening, members. Thanks for meeting with us tonight. My name is Jerry Mario. I brought my wife, Regina Mario, with me. What we're looking to do is take an existing loft area above our garage to construct an accessory apartment for our aging parents, who are one of which is permanently disabled. The other works in construction and is looking to retire to better care for his wife and also be close to my wife and our children.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of the plan itself, the square footage, that type of thing?
Yeah, so the plan itself, the existing garage is 40 foot by 40 foot, so it's 1,600 square foot is the footprint, and the loft area above the garage is the same dimension. That's why we asked for the variance, just because it's an existing structure.
Okay. I'm going to open it up, if you don't mind, for members of the board to ask questions. We usually kind of go around everybody first. Mr. Cussy, do you have any questions of the applicant?
I don't at the time.
Okay. Mr. Chicolo?
Yes. Is your house located on the corner of Oxford Street North and Lincoln Street?
No.
If you could just approach, please, ma'am. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So if you have to speak to the microphone so the folks at home can hear you.
It's across the street from Silver Auto Repair. There's a large pond in the front yard.
Would you say that again, please, a little louder?
Sorry. It's across the street from Silver Auto Repair. There's a large pond in the front yard.
Okay.
It's next to...
That's what I thought, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a large house setback off the road.
So it's right on the bend.
The back side of it is White Terrace, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Like the back side, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Backside is what?
Is White Terrace.
And it's adjacent to Chestnut Street.
And you said it's right on the bend?
Right.
Yes.
I'm sure if you're driving towards Worcester, towards Webster Street, it's the large house with the pond in the front yard.
Driving towards...
If you're driving on Oxford Street south and you're going towards Worcester, it would be on your right. It's on the bend where the garage is. There's an automotive repair facility across the street.
Yeah.
Used to be Sorensen's.
Yes, and then
Sorensen's garage.
Hadwin Park Market is like, I don't know, a football field up on the left. Right?
Off of Oxford Street North.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I said south. Yes, Oxford Street.
North, yes. So
Okay.
past Julia Bancroft School on your right.
Yeah?
Keep going straight like you're heading towards Hadwin Park.
Yeah?
But before you get to Hadwin Park,
Right.
White Terrace is on your right, where Chief Bellingham used to live. And then right after you pass White Terrace, it's the first house on the right-hand
All right.
side.
And
It's a very large house and a big
to be
lot.
very honest, we went by once to see your property and said, wait a minute, we must have been wrong, and went by it a second time to see it. And we saw 17, we saw 19, we saw 20, 23, 25 rather, and then Lincoln Street, and then there was no number on the house next to it, and we assumed that that was 21. So we looked at the wrong house. My apologies.
No, that's quite all
Not that
right.
I didn't try.
It's a little setback, so it might be hard to see a number. You guys have a good-sized porch, so it might be hard to see a number.
Yeah, well, we have a small, a white, painted white rock with a 21 right at the mouth of the driveway.
Okay.
But in any case, it's easy to miss.
Was the wrong one. So that, due to that, I'm going to reserve any questions.
Okay. Mr. Marion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so I too viewed the wrong property, which throws out first, second, and third page of my questions. And you've already testified, sir, that your existing property houses a 1,600 square foot. So the plan that I'm looking at has a 40 span by 40 span, and that is existing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything further at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Ms. Roach?
So I guess I just have more of like a discussion. I mean, obviously for us, 700 square feet is what we normally allow. 1,600 is obviously an astronomical difference. You're not here asking for 150 square feet. You know, I mean, my entire house is 1,600 square feet. So an accessory apartment is not, the purpose of that is not for it to be this ginormous living space. While I can also understand obviously wanting the comforts and all that, I'm just gonna, I have a problem with the size. I don't think you should tear down the whole garage, but in my opinion, I mean, again, and this living room's bigger than my living room, so I just think size-wise, I just can't really get past the size. I'm certainly open to suggestions. I don't really know what the answer is, but that's asking us to really give a really big variance. Did you consider having plans done some other way or leaving half of it storage? And I mean, if half of it was storage and half of it was an apartment, that's 800 square feet. I think you'd have a little bit of a better chance of that. Was there any reason for being at such a large space? Only 2 people are going to live there?
Just because it was already, there's some existing rough-ins for electrical and things like that, so we just sort of said, okay, this is a footprint we're working with, and gave it to the architect.
Okay. And you'll keep, is the intention that the bottom part will still be a working garage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this will just be the second floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Space. Okay. I don't have any other specific questions, I guess.
Okay. Ms. Blaze?
Not really a question, just a comment maybe that, if one of the members are there disabled, how do you plan on getting somebody to the second floor?
Well, they're mobile. She has a fuse back, so she is still mobile, but she's just unable to do certain activities.
But going forward, it would be an issue.
Yeah, it would certainly be an issue, and we even talked about that, putting a chairlift on a set of stairs, so just designing the stairs such that it could accommodate that. Yeah, it's not ideal, certainly. First floor would always be best for...
Right. I do have issues with the size also.
Okay.
Just, it's a big jump for us to do that, but that's all I have right now. Thank you.
So, to give you a little background, one of the requirements we have in granting a variance is that it does not substantially derogate or take away from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. We've granted 60 feet, 100 feet, possibly even maybe a couple of 100 feet, but to pretty much double the amount and grant the variance, I think, in my opinion, and I'm not going to speak for the rest of the board, it might be substantially taking away from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. Again, I'm going to go around again, and I think I'm going to ask if anybody has more comments on that. Mr. Cussy?
I was wondering, Caleb, have you viewed this property?
I'm familiar with the property. I haven't made a special trip there to view it. I have an issue with the plan as well as the size. It also only has one means of egress, so it does not meet the building code as it's proposed.
Okay, so that's an important note.
Right.
Mr. Chicolo?
I'm torn because our bylaw does state that there can be deviation in the situation for disabled or handicapped people, but the bylaw states reasonable deviation. I would think that 2 1/3 times the amount of allowable space by the bylaw is a little bit more than reasonable deviation. Is there upstairs? I see that you're proposing a dormer
Yes, sir.
off a part of it. And in order to reduce your costs and more conform with the bylaw, if that dormer, say on the back, were not there and knee walls put in, you wouldn't be affecting the construction in any way, but you would be reducing the size. So that I would say that without a better plan showing where you've attempted to get to the size or close enough, that I would have to say I just need more information and would need a better plan. And that would be a way to accomplish it also, and reduce your costs.
Okay. So, I mean, I understand the intent is to get to that 700 foot by reducing or removing that dormer in the back. You're proposing that would reduce the usable square footage, correct? Just based on height, overall height.
The usable square footage, because you're gonna have to put a knee wall in there. And so it would reduce the square footage that would be available for an accessory apartment, moving you towards a number that we would consider would be reasonable deviation from the rule.
Certainly. Now, would you oppose if we took the suggestion of taking part of this and maintaining a storage space for the main living area?
Well, are you just going to make it into storage area that would be accessible? In other words, is it just really part of the apartment? Is it a bigger closet, essentially? Is that what you're going to do?
That was just one of the suggestions I heard,
Yeah.
so.
And you can make storage area for the garage and so forth, but not so that it's really just a gigantic walk-in closet for the apartment. You know what I mean? We're trying to work with you on it, but
Yeah.
that would be out of the realm of what I would consider reasonable.
Yeah, and again, we're just trying to keep it such that we're not removing the second floor to put something smaller, you know what I mean? Just the overall dimensions of the overall footprint, we're trying to keep that the same. And, we can certainly look at ways to reduce the footprint per your suggestion.
And that can be done in most cases because you're looking at a Cape house that has a footprint, but the second floor isn't dormered. And you go up there and there's knee walls where the slope of the ceiling comes down, and that essentially reduces the size. Gets you moving in the right direction.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Mr. Maron, do you have anything to add?
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of follow-up questions, if I may. And a point of clarification, I see in conferring with some of the other board members that I seem to have a different plan than others have. And by that specifically, and Caleb, I heard the comment regarding the points of egress. My plan shows two. It shows a set of stairs, exterior, on the side of the dwelling as well as. So, I mean, maybe the question is back to you. Are you aware that we have two different diagrams that were submitted to the board?
I know there was two sets of plans. One did not have the square foot dimensions on them, and our architect had emailed Sheila Conroy the updated copies with just those dimensions. But that's.
But these plans seem to speak to a set of stairs that aren't present and an egress that's not present on the other plans.
Oh, yeah.
So just for point of clarification, we all have the same, well, we have initially the same plan that was submitted, but some of us have one showing an existing external staircase. Some of us do not.
Okay, there is not an existing staircase.
There is not, and well, I think with part of the construction would be intended to put the staircase. If you want,
As the second
means
means of egress.
Do you want to step up here for a minute? We'll show you the difference.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see where you're going with this.
So you see here, this one shows a set of exterior stairs and a door. And this one does not.
This one, yep, my apologies.
That's
Yep.
okay. I just want to make sure so we're all on the same page.
Yep, so yeah, we had a few different drafts going back and forth.
Right.
I apologize for that, but yeah, that would be a
Okay,
proposed,
so this is the most current, would you say?
yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So we're going to take that out of the equation.
So that would be the second egress.
You want to see that?
Through the chair, is there a revision date on that, on the most current?
Yeah, you want to just pass that over to Caleb so you can see it too.
And so if I may, Mr. Chairman, while we're reviewing that, I'm just going to follow up with a couple of questions. Thank you, Mr. Mario. So that intends to answer the question of the second egress. Recognizing that I didn't have the privilege of viewing your property and at a disadvantage. With these plans in front of us, can you, in just very rudimentary terms, describe to me what's there now versus what's going to be added? Because, plans can be deceiving. This looks like all new construction. I understand that there's a footprint of 40 by 40, but what's there now? Do you have a 3-car garage now? And give me that courtesy because I didn't view it.
Certainly. Viewing the plans here, if you take a look at, so it's an existing garage. If you look below the first roof line, that is how it is now and how it will remain the same. And if you look at the proposed side elevation plan, you see 2 dormers. Those are non-existing at the moment.
Okay, so this.
But outside of those dormers, that bottom roof line, if you look at the proposed side elevation, is existing. And there's, I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but there's almost a big dormer in the front. If you look at the front view and you look at the first roof line and you put a triangle on top of that, that's the structural shape as it stands today.
Okay. And I'll just make the quick personal judgment it's a really nice diagram. But I guess my core question, based on size being a significant issue based on the bylaw, is why add those other dormers? I'm not suggesting you should answer that because that's been vetted a bit, but that does increase the size to where your footprint is now as far as square footage, usable space. On the diagram, on the proposed side view, I'm seeing what appears to be another garage door.
Yes, that's existing.
So that's existing. So you have 4 garage doors on existing right now. Okay. And on that side view. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything further at this time.
Ms. Roach?
Just a couple quick follow-ups. Do you guys have are you hooked up to town water and sewer, or do you have septic over there?
Town water and sewer, ma'am.
Okay, that's a requirement that if you're gonna add people, the septic system has to be able to account for that. That's why I ask. Parking I know is fine because you have a pretty good sized driveway over there. That's another condition that we look at. I don't think I have anything further. I just think size for me is an issue.
Okay. Ms. Place?
I have nothing further.
Okay. So, just trying to gather as much information as we can. Do you know what the existing square footage is above the garages now, minus the dormers that are on the plan?
I'm not sure what usable is.
Right.
So, because the floors go right to the roof line.
Sure.
So if you were to put a measuring tape across those, they would be the same footprint as the garage. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't wager to guess what it would be, what the usable square footage is at the moment.
Right.
It's probably maybe half. Maybe half you could stand up all the way in, mm-hmm. but the pitch is pretty steep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's why the dormers were added, just because maybe about 8 or 10 feet on either side of the center line of the side elevation, you're hitting your head pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think my suggestion to both you and the board is that we maybe consider the option of a different plan. I don't want to necessarily make a motion to refuse because I think, just in my opinion, it might go that way. But possibly the submission of a smaller size plan, something a little different, might be more palatable. Is that something you would be open to?
Certainly. I mean, this is something we'd really like to do for our parents and,
Sure.
Get them close to their grandkids. So we're certainly, willing to make concessions for that. So would it be fair to say we would take that suggestion of eliminating that rear dormer and sort of see where we're at from there? I mean, I certainly would like to avoid going back to the architect
Of course, I understand that.
several times.
I think that if we were to work with something, and I'm only speaking for myself, please understand,
Sir.
that was possibly within the existing structure as it is now. Granted, I think your house is substantially larger than a majority of the properties around you.
Yes.
And I think, given that, I think there is some flexibility in my mind that we might be able to grant the variance for. I just don't know what the other members of the board, and I certainly don't want to pursue that right now. But if we had an alternate plan that was closer to what was required, and maybe could be incorporated into the existing structure, I think that might be something that we could try to work with.
Okay.
But I think if you were to move forward for a vote this evening, I think we're beyond what the intent and purpose of the bylaw is here.
Okay.
So,
Mr. Chairman, if I may make a final point and request from the applicant. So I know you'd mentioned that the primary use is for your parents, but just for the record, so can't predict the future, but your intent is for personal use for this accessory apartment, as you've explained. But would you confirm that you would have no intention down the line, far down the line, to make this a commercial use, renting it out to others?
Yes, I can confirm that. There's no intentions of making it for commercial use.
And commercial is probably the wrong word there, but being in the realm of business myself, I consider that it's commercial when you rent out to other people. But and it might be the improper term here. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, can we just ask if there are any abutters?
are there any abutters present? Seeing none? Thank you. Any other comments? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think in this particular case, a withdrawal of this petition, which would allow the applicant to come back with the better plan, I think, as you have mentioned, that is the way to go for us to hopefully work with you.
Okay, could you explain what that process is? Or?
So we've done this in the past with other applicants. So you would request a withdrawal of this application and a continuation, and then we can leave the matter open, and then you could come to a future meeting. So in other words, you wouldn't have to resubmit, you wouldn't have to have additional fees, that type of thing. You would maybe have to re-notify the abutters. I think that would be something that the Department of Inspection Services would have to discuss, because it is a future meeting. But we can reduce your costs associated with having to refile the application.
Okay, great.
And, again, try to work with you on this. I understand that it's a pretty large property, and overall, this design probably fits into that. But I think, again, going back to that intent and purpose of the bylaw, I think we would be taking away from that if we approve that.
Okay.
So we need you to ask for that withdrawal and continuation.
Just before I submit to that.
That's okay.
No, just a question. So if I go back to my architect and we work on a plan that outlines all the things we discussed, what's the process to sort of get back on an agenda for a future meeting? Who do I speak with, and who do I contact?
We would leave it open this evening, and that way the technical process is that it would remain open for public comment in the event one of your abutters wanted to come forward and have any complaints or questions about it regardless. And then you would notify the Department of Inspection Services when the time came, and they would be able to put you on an agenda.
Okay. All right. Very
Yeah,
good.
do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I just want to be clear, is the applicant going to be requesting a continuance or is withdrawal without prejudice?
Again, that's what I think we need to clarify. I would personally prefer, I think, a continuance. I'm not sure if you would prefer a withdrawal without prejudice.
No, I just want to be clear with the applicant what's going on.
Discussion for the board, a continuance, you think?
I think so.
Whatever saves them the most money.
Right, and I agree. I think the continuance in the past has saved the most money for the applicants.
Give them the most flexibility to redraft and come back in.
And it's not something you'd have to do for next month. It could be 2-3 months down the road, depending on what your schedule is like and what your architect can accomplish.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we go with a continuation on that
As a recommendation.
as a recommendation? Okay. So again, as a recommendation, we would submit that you may want to request a continuation of the hearing.
Okay. All right. Will do. Yeah.
Okay, so now I just need you to formally ask
Actually
for
say it.
that, please.
Okay. Can I please have a continuation on this?
We have a request from the applicant for a continuation. Do I have a motion to accept the continuation?
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so when you are ready, you can be in touch with the Department of Inspection Services, and they'll get you on an agenda with us.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Good evening.
I don't see anything here.
This one's continued. So this, for the record, hearing will remain open at the clerk's office in the event anybody wants to make public comment. Okay, so we'll shuffle some papers.
Caleb, you have my plan? You can have it.
back.
Go back.
I think it went back.
Oh, I might
Somebody's got the staircase
I think
plan.
the chairman might have selected it.
I'll give you a
Oh,
copy.
that's my old one.
That's yours. There you go.
There you go.
Thanks, Jim.
Yes, so do I have a motion to close the 7 PM hearing?
Motion to close?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we'll let Caleb take care of that administrative duty. Okay, so I'll just talk to you.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Shut down. That's one. Okay, so 7:15 applicant, Mr. Andrew Lawton, doing business as Impact Fitness LLC, requesting a variance under section 3.2.5.6 of the Auburn zoning bylaws for the operation of a fitness club on property located at 314 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. Map 42, parcel 9. Is the applicant present?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim McNamara. I'm representing Impact Fitness, and Andrew Lawton is here with us today. So the proposal of the applicant is to locate a fitness center on the corner of Millbury and Washington Streets. And it was the determination of Commissioner Moody that this would fall under a general services use, and it is in a general industrial zone. So the procedure here is we're basically seeking a use variance in order to proceed with the process of citing that location. In support, I believe everybody has the materials for our application. In our brief, we cite that it is our position that the siting of this fitness center would be a contribution to the public good for the town of Auburn. It is the intent of the applicant to supply probably about 15 to 20 jobs for area residents. There will be obviously a great deal of improvement that's made to this property that's been sitting since 1994, I believe. And so inside and out, the improvements will contribute to the overall property values in the area, enhance the neighborhood generally, and obviously add another anchor business for everyone in town. With respect to the character of the neighborhood and the general bylaw, we also believe that it wouldn't significantly derogate from the character of the area. Across the street, everyone's familiar, I'm sure, that there's a gas station and convenience store, there's a doctor's office across Millbury, and then across Washington there is Sovereign Bank located there. And so all of it is general sort of, I suppose, general use commercial in the area for the most part. So, again, we believe that this would be a net gain for the community.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Costa, any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, what type of fitness, is there any Is it yoga or?
Well, it will be a variety of different kinds of fitness. I can probably have Andrew come up here to be more specific, but there will be, weight machines. In addition, on the upper level, there's going to be, rooms for yoga is going to be one planned activity. I think based on interest in the area, I know that there was discussions of having, yoga, especially for elderly population individuals. There's going to be a sort of a very unique spinning room there, which they've brought sort of this new technology from actually Manhattan, where it's sort of an immersive spinning, and spinning is very popular for a lot of younger people these days with just having a room full of bikes essentially, and it's basically a bicycle machine, but then you have this immersive piece of a big screen television, which will be in. There's going to be a full-time daycare as well, so people can coming in, moms during the day can bring in their children, and there's going to be very sort of comprehensive activities planned for children, so that will be also part of it. As for the equipment, I'm not too familiar with gyms myself, but I'm sure Andrew could give you fine details on that.
Would you mind, please, if you want to step up and give us an overview? If you introduce yourself, please, sir.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Lawton, one of the owners of Impact Fitness. Our goal to bring to Auburn is kind of like a full-service fitness center. So you're going to have cardio, you're going to have free weight training, functional training, you're going to have group classes that range from yoga, Pilates, classes very similar to like Les Mills' like Body Pump, Body Combat, which is like a cardio kickboxing type of class. The Immersive Spin program, that's a very unique and exciting program. We'll be one of 3 in the nation that will have it. It's kind of the best way to explain. It's like 4D cycling. You have like a 3D reality screen. You feel wind. You have like almost like if you're going like a bridge and there's water, like spritzers, you kind of feel the motion of the water going. It's a very exciting, very cool new technology of how to kind of approach fitness. We are going to have our goal too is to bring like a full or extended hour like childcare, where most gyms usually have like your early morning 8 to noon, and then your nighttime 4:30, 7:30. There's huge gaps that kind of leave a lot of working parents or parents that are at home unable to go to the gym. Our goal is to eliminate that type of excuse or that issue by putting forth the funds to hire the staff to have daycare from 8 to 8. So if someone want to go to the gym at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, hey, they're home from work one day, want to go, it's available to them. As far as we also have there, full line of all circuit training. We're also really pushing to bring in a new circuit line of just for handicap accessibility training, something unique that I haven't seen any gyms I've ever either worked on or went to myself. But this is a line dedicated for people with physical limitations, whether they be in a wheelchair, whether they have certain injuries and rotator cuffs. It's designed to allow them to approach fitness as well too. And then our one of the final goals we want to do is we want to approach. I'm still figuring out now about like the Silver Sneakers program. So we want to bring kind of the 55, 60 plus, more than just yoga and Pilates and other classes that are good for them, but an actual program's already been proven successful. That's covered by different health insurance plans and things like that.
Okay. Mr. Custer, you have any questions?
It's a lot.
Yeah, now there is going to be an entrance and an exit onto Millbury Street? Is that what I'm saying?
Yep, so
It's an entrance only, isn't it?
yeah, it should be. I mean, if we could if we could be entrance exit, that would be ideal. But I understand there are a lot of restrictions as far as with light being there, fuel with traffic, at the very least getting at least an exit only. So you come in one way and then have be able to get out the other way.
Exit out to Washington.
Yeah. Washington, right turn only probably,
Right.
That's my only issue with the traffic.
So I think part of what we've agreed to as part of speaking to the fire department, They were concerned about access to the rear of the building, for emergency purposes. So we also did, and I think that's in the materials as well, we did secure an easement from the abutter for enough room that we can put a road through there for emergency access vehicles. And so that is incorporated in these plans here.
Just the overflow lot we did. I believe it's all one way.
Yeah.
Is that,
Less easy.
this is what they were trying to write?
Before I move on to the next board member, you had mentioned that you secured an easement. Do you have that in writing?
Yeah, we do have that in writing. I have actually a document prepared for recording. I'm not sure if that's, we haven't, so the owner basically represented to us, whatever you need, we will do. We haven't proceeded with that yet. I think,
Right, okay.
I think we're a little premature on it, but
And you plan on leasing this building, or are you purchasing it, or?
this is, the applicant's purchasing it, yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yep.
Just again for the record.
Or owns it.
Mr. Chacolo, do you have any questions?
Yes. You introduced yourself, and I got the impression this is not the only fitness club you have? Or do you have another one?
No, for myself, I've worked with many fitness clubs and helped build some other ones. This will be my only company now that I'm involved with.
All right. And have you made arrangements to go before the Conservation Commission?
Yeah, we're proceeding right now with the Conservation Commission. We're working with the engineer and architect on that. I think we're going to proceed with a notice of intent application with the Conservation Commission.
And then over to the planning board also for your...
Yeah, well, we have to go through site plan review and as well as Conservation Commission, yeah.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Maron?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you for the responses so far and being here. Just a couple of quick questions on the existing building and the modifications you intend. Will the footprint, just open questions, will the footprint change? What type of lighting, hours of operation, those kinds of things? Can you address some of that?
Sure. Well, I know the footprint won't change. I think you have more details on lighting and hours of operation.
So I know as far as lighting, our goal is go through and go with all the like the high efficiency LED energy saving. I've already gotten in contact with multiple companies, as well as starting to get a hold of like the Mass Save program that they go through and do the audits, see what's the most efficient way to do your lighting. Our goal is to go as green as we can. I think it's a lot of companies are trying to do nowadays. As far as hours of operation, typically we like to get typically hours for a gym would be like 5 to 10, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. That kind of serves the overall hours of the crowd. We have spoke about doing like a 4:30 to 10:30. Sometimes a half hour difference makes a difference. Someone gets out of work at 7:30, get there at 8:30. They have plenty of time to get the workout in, shower if they need to, then go home. So it was a conversation piece if we decided to do 4:30 to 10:30, but typically it's 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. is your standard gym hours.
Nothing at this time. Thank you, gentlemen.
Ms. Roach?
Yeah, I think Mr. Cussy addressed, my only, concern, I think that building has been an eyesore for many years, so I think it's a great idea to get something in there. I'm also a huge fan of spinning, as a side note. But that area can be a little bit congested if you come here around Christmas time and you have people trying to cut to the Millbury Mall. That light can be a little bit of a nightmare. But I think as long as you'd have to go to site plan review anyway, and so I think I'm pretty good.
Okay.
Unusual, I know, but.
So is it going to be 2 floors? Are you using the basement and then the main floor, or?
Correct. Yep. So we're gonna use the full use of the entire building. So we'll have the main floor as your first floor. I believe I submitted to the floor plans. I don't know if you guys got them. Sent them over. But you have on the first floor you'll have your main gym floor area. You'll have your locker rooms, spin room, and also the child care room. And the second floor is mostly going to be just classrooms. You'll have 3 different classrooms, and you'll have a women's only training room. And there's also 2 bathrooms upstairs with a utility room as well too. And a media room for data.
So the picture I'm looking at appears to be not 2 floors. Am I looking at the wrong picture?
The floor plan you'd be looking at, sometimes there's a big, if you see a big square, then you're looking at the bottom, so the lower level.
So the basement.
It's not a basement, I think it's just a single level, and then what happens is that there's a hill, and there's, it turns into 2 levels. So you have sort of a walkout situation, but the walkout is much larger. It's tough to explain, but there's no basement.
Yeah, no, it's the way the land made. So the building's built into the hill almost. So like what we're calling the second level, that's flush with the upper part of the hill, but the whole bottom half of the building is on kind of where the parking lot is, so like the main floor. Because before it was a factory. Before it had office buildings, so it was a 2-tier office, like a rectangle office set, and then just the factory itself, or the factory floor.
I think at one point it was a printing company, is that correct?
That's
Yes.
correct, yeah.
They used to sell music equipment there.
I think that the Phoenix was printed there.
Yeah, I think there was the Phoenix at one point, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, any other questions at all? Would you like to add anything, gentlemen?
No, thank you.
Okay. Do a motion to close the public hearing?
Any butters?
Oh, any abutters present? I apologize. Hearing none, seeing none? Okay. Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for variance under section 3.2.5.6 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for the operation of a fitness club on the parcel located at 314 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass, map 42, parcel 9.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote. Mr. Cussy?
I'll vote to grant.
Mr. Chacolo?
Vote to grant.
Tatro. And I vote to approve. Do we have any conditions?
I would like to make it conditioned on the easement actually being allowed and recorded. I think site plan would probably want to see that too, but having it in theory and
Right,
having it recorded is 2 totally different things.
Okay, so, oh, go ahead.
And probably it goes without saying, Mr. Chairman, but I know this is going to go to a variety of boards, commissions.
Yeah, that's
And so
usually
our standard language regarding,
Okay.
all applicable boards, commissions, and permitting process.
Okay, so the application is approved. So what we have here is that, congratulations, first of all, it is approved, but that we have to have the easement would be recorded.
Yep.
And that you're also obviously going to go through the other processes with the Planning Board, Conservation Commission, that type of thing. And also, I just want to make note for the record that there was nothing about signage here, so if you do have anything that is above and beyond what is allowed by town bylaws, you'd have to come back again in the future. But congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, just for the record, we have a motion to close the 7:15 hearing.
Motion to close?
Make sure.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And our final 7:30 applicant, Ms. Maureen Du Bois, hope I said that correctly, requesting a special permit under section 8.3.2 and 8.2 2.3, just want to make sure I have those correct, of the Auburn zoning bylaws to reconstruct a single-family home on property located at 19 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass., map 6, parcel 151, and a variance is requested from the lot frontage requirement under section 5.4 of the Auburn zoning bylaws to reconstruct a single-family home and construct an oversized garage on the property located at 15 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass., map 1, parcel 33. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. If you could introduce yourself, please, and give us an overview of what you'd like to accomplish.
Hi, my name is Maureen Dubois. I live at 19 Southbridge Street, and I own 15 Southbridge Street as well. I currently have a tenant in there. I would like to replace, I need the special permit for the existing home at number 19. I would like to replace that home with a 3-bedroom ranch. It's currently a bungalow. I have foundation problems there. So to expand it would just be throwing good money after bad. It's just, the house was built in 1920. We renovated it in the early 90s. At that time, we had to replace a section of the foundation. I have another section of the foundation that's kicking in, which means I have to tear out the whole concrete front stairs. I have to remove the front porch. I mean, to do that just makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I'd like to replace that house with a 3-bedroom modular ranch, which reduces my out time. On number 15, I have frontage on both Southbridge Street and Jerome Ave. The back lot is just currently for the dog. The overall plan is to clearly define the two properties, to reduce my maintenance, I'm going to be removing buildings. I have a carport on number 15 that's the bones of it are 125 years old. It's in danger of collapsing. I'm loving this winter and the lack of snow thereof, because I'm really nervous about it. So that building needs to come down. We have sheds all over the place. The sheds have just been added and bounds have been torn down over the years, and it's just, I need to clearly define the two properties, simplify things. There's no garage at number 19, so we park at number 15. My son is an electrician, and he has one of those big, huge trucks with all the compartments. He can't fit them into any of the garages. So the garage for number 15 is to accommodate him, and when we lose the other buildings, we put the things into that big garage. He needs the big 10-by-10 overhead door in order to get his truck in. So I want to put that garage for him down on the back lot, build a new house, and just kind of simplify things, reduce buildings, just make my life easier.
Okay. Mr. Costa, any questions of the applicant?
I don't have any right now.
Mr. Chacolo?
Hi there. In one of your briefs, you stated that your son needed to build a garage to fit his truck in. He's an electrician?
Yes.
Is he self-employed?
No.
So there would be no thought of running a business out of there?
No.
Okay. Thank you. That's all for now.
Okay. Mr. Barron?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. And I'm sorry if I missed this in your opening comments, and I appreciate I did view the property, and your comments regarding kind of reducing some buildings. And if you already addressed this again, I apologize. What's going away?
The carport will be going away. The carport's kind of odd. It's, like I said, it goes back so far, so there's a lot of history here. The carport was originally horse stalls, and on the back half of the carport is where they used to store the hay, and they would just bring the horses in, and then the hay was in the back part. And over the years, my husband had turned it into a carport, and that back part where the hay was stored, it was turned into storage where I keep my ride-on mower, my push mowers, and all that kind of stuff. And then on the side of that, we used to hobby breed years ago. So attached to that is what we refer to as our dog barn, which has whelping boxes for when we were breeding the dogs. But like I said, that whole building is just, this past summer, I had to do a lot of repairs. I mean, it's just, the building's 125 years old. It needs to go down.
Sure.
So that building's gone.
So that building will be going. There are 2 additional sheds on the property full of a lot of other stuff. So when the new garage gets built, we're going to be eliminating those sheds as well. So the carport will go, the 2 sheds will go. The current 2-car garage that's there will now be used to house that lawnmower and some of the other things. And my son's truck and his things will go into the new garage. And like in my number 19, there's no parking. We live in number 19, but we park on number 15. So this way here with the new house, it'll have an oversized garage, so that it will have a garage and parking on its own property. And then likewise, number 15 will have a garage for parking on its property with the additional garage down in the back lot.
So at 19 is where you're proposing a reconstruction of an existing house, or is the entire house coming down and you're going to build a new?
Number 19 will be coming down, and we're going to put in we'd like to put in a 3-bedroom ranch. Like I said earlier, I have foundation problems there. And it's a bungalow. My son is over 6 feet tall. He can't stand on his tiptoes upstairs in his room without hitting his head on the ceiling.
And just 2 final questions, if I may. So there are 2 properties currently, right? With
Correct.
2 distinct property lines.
Correct.
They're 2 deeded, they're 2 separate properties.
Correct.
Okay. And is there any reconstruction that's being done in addition to what's existing, or is it all coming down and just coming up now? With what you're trying to accomplish, are you adding on to anything existing, or are you just demolishing and building new?
I'm just demolishing number 19 and putting in new, and then I want to put in the new garage down on the back lot on number 15.
Okay, so we're not talking about construction on an existing structure that you're building or adding?
No.
And that was part of my confusion.
No.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Ms. Roach?
Hello. I apologize. It's a lot to take in. So just a couple questions. So on 15, right now, there's an existing house.
Correct.
The only thing that you are going to do there is you're going to remove one of the existing garages, because it looks like right now there's 2, one smaller than the other. You're going to take down one, you're going to put up one, a new one, so you're going to have 2 garages on 15.
Correct.
Is the new garage that looks like it's on the back lot, that's going to be accessed only from Jerome Ave?
Yes, he'll come in and out from Jerome Ave.
Okay, no access onto Southbridge Street for
Well,
lot 15.
he's going to put a door on the back half.
Yep.
Only because if he needs to be in there doing his thing, he doesn't want to leave that front one wide open. So it just gives him room to come out into the backyard, so to speak. So he'll have a door on the backside as
Right.
well. But he won't be able to drive through because it's going to be all lawn.
Right, okay. He won't be turning in and out of
Right.
the property onto Southbridge Street.
Right.
Okay. And then on 19, I get the house that's there is gone, new house is being built, along with a small garage or no garage on 19?
It's just going to be a 1-car oversize.
One
I think
car
it's 20 by 24, I believe.
Yep,
So
okay,
it's
I
just a
see it,
small-
yeah, the red, okay.
All right.
And the proposed driveway, the access to 19 is going to be from Southbridge Street?
Yes, where it is now.
Okay, so no change in that?
No.
Okay. Okay. I would be interested in what Mr. Moody has to say about this, not to put you on the spot, but do you have any?
Just through the chair, one observation. I think there's going to be a conservation filing required because of the existing swale in the back. I'm just noticing now that the proposed garage is the 25-foot line goes through that proposed garage on number 15.
Okay.
It's not on my property, that's on someone else's property.
The swale is on someone else's property, you say?
My neighbors.
Right, okay.
The swale is, okay.
The issue is,
Something where the location of the garage could be moved to accommodate if needed?
it's just, I can't speak for the Conservation Commission, but a filing would be required.
Right.
They need to go through a notice of intent
Okay.
because of the location.
Okay. And it looks like the lot frontage requirement is what the issue is on number 15, lot 15.
Correct. It's an existing non-conforming lot with lack of frontage, and once you go to add on to it and change it, you're going to have to meet all the requirements of the new bylaw. So a variance would be required for that.
And right now, it looks like she has 60.55, is that correct?
That's on Southbridge Street. Jerome Ave has 55.
Okay. And so she would need a variance for both?
Correct.
It's 100?
Actually, no,
Off the top of my
I'm
head.
sorry. She wouldn't need a variance for frontage on both. She would need a variance for frontage on one or the other.
Okay.
You do have to meet the front setback on Jerome Ave, but you do not need a variance for the frontage requirement.
Okay.
Because the property fronts on two roads, you need to meet the setback requirement for both roads.
And how far, how far are we talking here? She has, there's so many numbers on this thing. So it looks like it's 12.1 feet off of Southbridge, is that right?
Which property are we looking at?
At 15, it looks like she's 12.1 feet off the street, or am I looking at the wrong number?
Yeah, what you're looking at is 60.55.
Okay.
She needs to meet of the frontage. The setback's not, she's not making any proposed changes to that existing house.
Okay.
So it's just the frontage requirement that she need the variance from.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Ms. Blaze?
No, nothing right now, thank you.
Okay. So I think actually my first question to Caleb is this something that, and I just had this in my head as a thought, would it be something that we could consider combining the two lots into one?
No, because I'd have to remove one whole, I had been trying to sell, and the reason I'm doing this is because of the history of the property, and there's so much overlap, and with number 15 being non-conforming, if I wanted to combine the properties, I would have to take down one of the houses completely. Which may be something I could do in the future at number 15, that I could possibly take that house down and just not replace it and then combine them, but currently I can't combine the two properties because there's two structures, there's a
Yeah, I see
structure
that,
on
and
each
driving
one.
by, it's a pretty complex situation here.
It's because of the family history.
Sure.
My late husband's grandfather bought the property back in 1892.
Oh, wow, so it's been in your family technically since,
My son's fourth generation.
right, wow, okay.
And the grandfather originally had a diner on the front of the house, and then had a filling station there.
That makes sense.
And when the son married is when they built number 19 as a wedding gift. But they still kind of all
Yeah.
kind of took over the property. They didn't clearly define at that point because they were family and they were... But now, as the years have gone on, and there was a land taking when Southbridge Street was widened and they put the sidewalks in, and in fact, the state, the curb cut for number 15 overlaps both properties. So I have a lot of problems there that have been way back in history that I'm trying to deal with, and I'm trying to, like I said, simplify things, clearly define the two properties, and just make my life easier.
Comments, Caleb?
Yeah, just looking at the plan, it looks like the setbacks are incorrect on number 15.
Okay.
It's showing the proposed garage 25.7 feet from Jerome Ave. The requirement's 40 feet in the HP district. property fronts on 2 streets, you have to meet the setback requirement for the frontage on both streets.
Okay. So that's setback on. Okay.
So that would be an additional variance, even if that was considered, correct?
Correct.
So we're looking at,
Would you go to move that back?
technically, we'd be looking at 2 variances and a special permit, I think, overall. Am I saying that correctly? I think
Yeah.
for the other members of the board, I think we kind of need a group discussion here on this.
Yeah.
That's how I read it, because they would need relief from both streets in that scenario.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, if I might ask
please.
another question. On the zoning determination on 15, states here you're going to be replacing the existing 2-bedroom, single-family home,
Yeah, I don't know why they put that there.
so you're not doing that?
No, number 15, no. When I got the notice myself, I kind of
Okay.
questioned that.
So nothing is being done to the house structure 15?
No, I have a tenant in there, so. no, she's-
Nothing's happening to
Nothing's
that,
happening there,
to the actual house?
to the actual house.
Okay. Okay, so the variance,
As I see it, the variance is going to be for the setback on Southbridge Street for the new proposed home. And then the second...
setback on this, that's setback on Southbridge Street for the 19, the new proposed home? That's way back.
I just
So
want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. 'cause
That's what I'm trying to...
The more confused I become.
Yeah. So that the variance that would be, the variance that's requested for 15 is for the garage
Correct.
and the setback as it refers to Jerome Ave.
Correct.
Okay.
If I may, through the chair, and also the road frontage requirement on Southbridge Street is not met.
But that is,
Once you extend a non-conforming use, you have to meet all dimensional requirements of the
so
bylaw.
those 2 items, then the setback on Jerome Ave, I'm just trying to clarify
Yep.
this. The setback on Jerome Ave and the road frontage on Southbridge Street refer to the variance for number 15.
Correct.
Those are the items that you need relief, or you're requesting relief from for 15.
Okay, well, the Southbridge Street thing was new to me. I was just aware
That's
of
only
the
because
Jerome Ave stuff.
you're changing a non-conforming structure, so that now brings into play the frontage, and so you'd be looking for relief from that. Now, so that's just, the special permit is for you to
Number 19.
raise the house on 19 and add put up another house with a 2-car garage.
One-car garage.
1-car garage. Okay, so that's the special permit that's needed.
Correct.
And Caleb, is there a variance needed for frontage because of that?
I think she's good.
Will the house have the same footprint?
It's going to be actually in the same location, frontage-wise. It's just going to come out on the side. So where the existing house is, it's going to pretty much sit right where that is, and it's going to...
You don't need any relief from setbacks for that house? No.
It's the frontage that would...
And that's why I'm asking about that for 19.
Yeah, I'm well back
Being that-
beyond 40 feet.
Yeah, but it's just the frontage now.
Oh, I have 120 feet there.
You have what?
I have 120 feet frontage on 19.
So are we talking 2 variances, or a variance with relief for 2 items for 15. And on 19, are we talking more than a special permit, Caleb?
You know, the special permit is required because it's a residential use in an HB district.
So that's the only thing that's needed for 19?
That can be altered with a special permit only.
Okay, so we need a special permit and a variance with relief of 2 items.
And also a special permit on 15 as well, because again, it's a residential use in an HB district.
We're not changing that use, though.
Once you alter a non-conforming use, it's done through a special permit process.
So we've got 2 special permits involved, 1 for each, and 1 variance with relief for 2 items.
Correct.
Okay.
And now you know why I'm trying to fix
It
it.
got rather confusing at some point, because we were talking 2 variances at one point, and I just wasn't understanding that.
And if I may, through the chair, the language in the zoning determination, the original question asked for number 15 is I would like to replace that house as well with a 2-bedroom modular ranch. This is a non-conforming lot, and there is land taken by the state many years ago to widen Route 12, so it does not meet the current setback. So the question originally was proposed to replace both houses. It looks like that has changed.
I just wanted to know if that could be done at some point. If you read before that, it said, I have a tenant in there that's been with me for 20 years, and I have no intentions of asking her to leave. That's also written on there. I needed to fill that out because I needed to know if I can do any of this.
So at this point, if I may, so at this point in time for clarification, you have no intent of changing the residential property on 15?
No. No, like I said, I have a tenant in there. She's been with me for over 20 years.
Can I just jump in?
I just needed to know for future reference, if and when she leaves, I'll have to do something with that house. So whether I replace that house as well, or whether I take that house down and combine the 2 lots, I just needed to know for future planning.
And I appreciate that. I think just for purposes of clarity and what's before the board right now, and that's why it goes back to my original question of what's coming down, what's staying, what's being modified against existing. Just that clarity is needed so that, as Mr. Colo had outlined, we can walk through what relief specifically you're asking for. So off the table for any modifications for the residents on 15.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
If that was to come up, that's something you have to reapply for in the future. And we really couldn't speculate on what our intent would be in the future with that property.
I'm sorry, say
On
that.
15?
15?
Like, you asked if there's something we could consider in the future. That's something we would have to reapply for.
Oh, I understand that. Like when I...
Just for the record.
Right, correct. When I originally filled out that paperwork, like I said, I just needed to know if I was going to be able to do anything.
Okay, so I see some external factors here as well as that. It's a business district. We've had, and this is a separate note, instances with people that live in that area in the past with larger businesses coming in and some problems with those properties as far as trailer trucks, different things like that, if you recall. Overall, I see this as a substantial improvement. It's something, as you mentioned, that's been going on for 180 some odd years, whatever it is.
125.
4 generations of people, family. It's complex, certainly. But I see the opportunity to improve substantially as well here.
Mr. Chairman, I agree with you, and I think the intent of the applicant is truly, is this has been kind of a legacy property, subject to changes, both of their own design as well as, what's gone through there from the state, from the road, those kinds of things. I mean, this is just me talking, but I see an opportunity to give the applicant an opportunity to kind of clean things up, if I can use that phrase, and not in any derogatory way, for the property's sake, but just that it is complex, that the applicant's in a situation where she's trying to provide some clarity on what happens with the existing structures, and she has a plan. she has a plan for what she wants to do. So if we can offer that relief, I think that would be a betterment for her to be able to manage that property, because it is complex, as you say.
Okay.
I mean, I have photos, and number 15 was actually number 1028 originally, Southbridge Street.
I can remember as a kid.
I have the original lots when it was called Elm Hill, sold by Phelps, something in Phelps.
What was it originally?
Warden and Phelps. In fact, Hampton Street was actually called Durfee Street.
Wow, it's quite a family history there.
So,
Are you connected to town water and sewer?
yeah, public water and sewer, yes.
For both lots?
Both lots.
Okay. I'm not big on sewer these days.
Okay.
Maybe we should do one at a time. Like, 1, 2.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I'm not trying to steal your thunder.
No, and
just saying.
I'm trying to get all this and wrap my head around it as well, and I think that should certainly, these are all individual decisions, even though they're on the same application, as far as how I have to write and submit them. So I think we should take each individual decision accordingly, just for my own purposes when I go to write this.
Yeah, no, I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that and part of trying to wrap our minds around this is it really take it property by property.
Right.
And then lump them and
You have to.
as what's subject to relief we're looking at for an up or down vote on each individual property.
So let me just break this down here for a minute. Number 19. So we're all on the same page. We're discussing a special permit for number 19, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And for number 15, we are discussing a variance with sort of two-pronged approach to that.
The setback
Right.
for the garage, as well as the road frontage on Southbridge Street. Those two items, the variance should provide relief for.
Okay.
And then also on 15, a special permit because of a change to a non-conforming use.
Okay. So we're looking at special permit.
Total of the, yeah. That's on 15.
Use. Okay, so I think, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
All right. Do I have let's, I think, tackle special permit on number 19 first?
Want a second?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So do I have a motion on the application for special permit for number 19?
I'll make a motion to grant the special permit for number 19 Southbridge Street to allow the changing, I guess you want to call it that, Caleb?
Through the chair, if I may, it would be a special permit under 823 for the extension of a non-conforming use.
Yeah,
Extension of non-conforming use.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, do I have a second on that motion?
Second?
Mr. Maron? Okay. Mr. Cussy?
Yeah, grant.
Approve. Ms. Roach?
A grant.
And I grant. Okay, so your special permit for number 19 has been approved. We'll move on to number 15, Jerome Ave.
15 Southbridge Street.
Southbridge Street, sorry. This is going to be a good one.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Okay. So we're going to talk about, we'll do the variance. So this would be the setback for the garage. Mr. Maron?
Sure, so I would make a motion for 15 Southbridge Street to grant the variance for the setback requirements
Okay,
and for the road frontage.
for the road frontage.
And you may want to put in there that the setback refers to the Jerome Ave.
Jerome Ave property, right?
And the
That's where
other-
I'm going in between.
Yeah, and the other is the road frontage on Southbridge Street.
Very good.
That's got two different streets involved in it.
Right, it does, correct, okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
And Mr. Chacolo, does your second stand for both as well?
It does.
Okay, Mr. Cussy?
Yeah, I'll grant.
And you are voting for both as well?
Correct.
Ms. Roach?
So I would like to add a condition.
Okay.
I am in favor of granting in both accounts. However, I think that I would want the things on this plan that they say are going to be removed, I would want to be removed. If they're not, I think it's creating even a worse problem over there.
Oh, no, they'll be
Referring to the
gone.
tree.
I'm referring to the big existing garage that's supposed to be removed. There's some sheds and a concrete pad, and if the overall goal is to clean this up and then I think that should be set as a condition. I think it's a great idea, but I think if those things don't come down and we just throw another garage up there, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy.
I see your point. Okay, so if I would, not to put words in your mouth, but so you would like it with the condition as all external buildings, and I'll include structures, removed as stated?
Correct.
Okay.
According to plan, if you want to reference the plan.
Sure. According to submitted plan.
Correct.
Okay, and I make a vote to grant as well. Okay, so congratulations, everything is kind of somewhat squared away on our end with this one. Yes.
And I apologize for interrupting
No, that's okay,
you,
you
if I
can.
may, but I believe on 19, excuse me, on 15 Southbridge Street, excuse me. I believe, I mean, we voted for variance. I believe that there was also a need for the non-conforming use, a special permit.
Special permit, right, that's what we just did.
Special permit.
We did the special permit for non-conforming use, garage setback,
That's
Two variants.
and then,
for two items.
Okay, I thought we were, and this may be my error, sir, but I thought on 15 Southbridge, we had not addressed the special permit yet. And if we had, it's my error. I thought we just addressed the variance. I didn't think we addressed a special permit on 15 Southbridge Street.
15.
Yeah.
so, okay, let's review to make sure we are all on the same page and correct. We did the special permit for 19 Southbridge Street. You voted, Mr. Chacolo voted to approve that under section 8.2.3, and you seconded, and that is the extension of the non-conforming use. Then we have the number 15. Oh, we haven't addressed, actually, we did the special permit for non-conforming use.
Right, we
On
haven't addressed
15, so now we need to address the variance.
No, we don't need yeah.
All the way around, correct. Okay.
Yeah, and I apologize for interrupting.
No, that's okay. I just wanna make sure we're on the same page.
I thought we, I know. we
Welcome
well
to my
covered-
world.
I know we well covered, just for a point of being thorough, I think we well covered the variance for the property on 15 Southbridge.
Correct.
I think we still need to address the special
Okay,
permit.
right, special permit remains for 15 Southbridge.
Okay, very good. And I know it was risking interrupting your thought.
You're not risking it all, I appreciate it, because this is one of my more complex decisions I think I've ever seen.
And I can, Mr. Chairman, make a motion to grant the special permit
Okay.
on 15 Southbridge Street regarding the extension of a non-conforming use.
And I'll second.
Mr. Cussy? I'll grant. Ms. Roach?
I'll grant.
And I grant as well. Okay, so let's review. One more time. I'm sure everybody at home is probably enjoying this as much as we are. So I believe we have addressed everything in the application as stated. We also clarified a couple of things. So we voted to approve the special permit for 19 Southbridge Street that we already just previously discussed. I won't go over that again. We have the special permit for non-conforming use, which includes the garage setback and the variance, a special permit for 15, for Southbridge Street. Okay. All covered?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Congratulations. Good luck with sorting all this out. And if you have any questions or issues, please feel free to contact Building Commissioner Moody at the Department of Inspectional Services.
Okay, and I want to apologize to him also for my repeated phone calls, but evidently because it was, the answers was double-sided, somebody didn't send me the double-sided copy, so I only had the 19 answer, so. Thank you.
Congratulations.
He's gonna say.
All right, so do I have a motion to close the 7:30?
Motion to close the 7th hearing. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have some decisions that I'm still working on, so please bear with me. I have a motion to approve the November 17th and December 15th, 2016 minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Do we have things to sign?
I think we do have one thing to sign. I think she sent an
Yes.
email, but something, okay.
Yes, we do have a couple of things
I
to
don't
sign.
have to sign this. I don't think we have.
Yeah, but you went about it in the right way, that, it's good.
Oh, yeah. The more I read the property, I drove by the property, I've known it pretty well for a long time, but
I go by
the more I
it every
dig into this one, the more I actually started scratching my head, I actually take a break and walk away from it for a little while. It just became, it was like the layer of the onion, so to speak.
Exactly, I totally agree. And that's why I'm trying to wrap my head around what was staying and where they keep on
Yeah.
resolve the setback.
I'm confused, I don't know.
Honestly, it became an exercise
Yeah, I can sign over it,
her
but.
intent was, she's got the feeling that it's challenges. And she's trying to straighten it out. I don't think she's trying to hide anything.
No.
I think it's part of what can I do, should I do, and then try to make it,
All right, so I'll do
bring it
this.
up to,
I already
to
signed
be
that.
no longer.
No, we haven't adjourned
Not
yet.
yet, we just gotta do a few.
That has to be done publicly.
Well, we're just getting ready to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or how many? Do we have to sign something for minutes or just approve them? Those are the minutes. November, December.
Yep. Do we need to sign? No.
We just need to vote to approve them.
We just did. November and December, yep, that's all set. We're good.
Okay, as soon as everybody has fixed their signatures, we can make a motion to adjourn.
So from the I said you guys had to sign about the dog. Okay. Do you know? Let's get it, I think.
Revisions to one of the agendas, public meetings not required.
Oh, yes. Yep. That's the email, yes, that's the email, yep. Okay.
Here's one for everybody.
Yeah. I saw the email.
Thank you.
That was the email, but just give them time.
As those are going around, through the chair, I did have a kind of an administrative question. Are we in a position every year, every calendar year, to address the composition of the board and positions on the board? And it's just out of curiosity, not that I have a desire to change, but do we? I'm wondering if that's a calendar year iteration where we're required to address that once a year.
I think the reorganization of this board would happen in June, July, because that's when the members' terms go from July to June, I'm sorry.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
They're just edits that they want, I use dog officer instead of animal control officer
Tomorrow,
correctly.
So we're just editing it. So we just have to
And
go
if
on the
the
record.
board agrees with the revisions on this, we can record this one as well.
So one of the decisions here for Darlene and Robert James, I used incorrect terminology. They edited that for dog officer to animal control officer, and the frequency is not less than every 6 months pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 137A, and Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 137. Is there a motion to accept the changes as stated?
Motion to accept the changes as stated.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye. I mean, do you want those?
Thanks.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.